Hello, welcome. This is development vblog number 4 for Landoss 1. And in this video, we are going to define the card punch. It's an action card, the first action card that we're going to work on. And yeah, let's go straight into it. Okay. Okay. In the last video, well, in the last session, we create a card and card function, which I said we might remove it later on. And then over there, we use the ID as a number, but we might change that, we might not, we'll see. So the first things, well, what we're going to do is think about how do I store the data. Right, and we can do SQLite and all that, or potentially can come from the server or something. But as we just start, we want to get the simplest way possible. So I want to just declare a JSON file, right? So cards.json. Okay, saying, and then I want to read from there. So first things I want to do is see if I can read from there. And it is an array. Well, let's go ahead and actually define it. So ID is it's pretty common to use number, so let's keep it as a number. And then what other information is there? We can take a look at the code that we just wrote, right? So energy. I'm thinking about, should it call cost or something, but well, to keep it consistent, I think energy is good. So it take 1 energy, and then the base attack on that is just 1, and then defense. Did I misspell it? Defense is 0, and then level is something should not be added into the card definitions, right? Because this really bothers me. Hold on a second. Yeah, let's keep this look really weird. Defense, right? Why I say defense? Okay, so defense is 0. Okay, and then again for the level, everything start with level 0, and so in the card definition I don't have to specify level. And then for the effects, it will be empty, and to save space I just keep it empty, so just keep the bare minimum. So, and then the other information I will need to get is should I define the other information like the description, right? So description and say punch, right? And like that. So that should be good. Although the description I might change that later on, because say you need to think about localization, right? So when it's localization, it doesn't make sense to put it over here. But of course, a very common way to do it is just put the English version as the base inside the base data, and then the translation, we use that to translate to the corresponding language, right? So let's put that over here, and then also description. Well, let's call this a name, and then call not description, say summary. All right, and just keep it simple. Keep it empty for now. So we define these cards, and then now we want to load the cards, and so we go here, and we can put the logic over here. That's okay, but it will break the organization, right? So let's say, let's put it as because right now I put the JSON right here, right, instead of in the data layer, which is just one way to do things. In, you know, say in clean architecture, you can organize it like this. So let's just call it loader, because it's namespace, right? All this code are namespaced. So I can create a local loader equal to that, and then define a function loader for get, right? Just do it like that, and then have specify an ID. And in the ID, what happened is we want to open the file and load the information. So again, sometimes when I'm at this point, I will always think about dependency injection, but should I think about that? Should I think about that? I feel I should, because while right now the card is stored locally over here, in one day it might store elsewhere, but well, actually no. Just for this low card, it's okay. It will be local. It's in the game data. We won't go into fetch and get that, because that would be too heavy, too crazy. It should be stored locally, so that's okay. So local open, right, and then cards dot cards JSON, right, and then we load it for read file equals to that, and then let's say print file, okay, and not returning anything. So over here I create a loader spec.lure, because I don't have anything to show yet to the UI, right? So it's easier, a lot easier to have test to do you know, to do all this for me. So let's say local loader equals to require. It's using double quote, or those template is using double quotes. Well, I'm not going to fuss about it. So cards, cards, no, cards, loader. Okay. Cards loader. I don't know how it like so. Let's see, and then it load load card. Well, let's say do that for now. And because normally I would do the degenerate case, which is say when the card is empty, but it won't be empty. We want to make sure that it's not empty. And then other case is say is malformed, and but in this case malform, it will catch it anyway. So we see, so loader get say get one, and then local card, right? Do that, and let's see what do I get here. So attempt to index a Boolean value. Index a Boolean value. Does it mean this? Attempt to index a Boolean value, up value, loader, line 5. Oh, I haven't returned. Okay, return loader. All right. Okay, cool. And JSON. Well, yes. Oh, this is new. Why is it new? It shouldn't be new. Oh, is it like that? Yes. Yep. Now that is a file. Okay, so io.read, I guess, file, and then is there a read to end? So, well, of course, there is a lot of optimization can be done over here. Right now, it's a JSON, can be a fixed block, and you can calculate by lines and so on. That will help you to go straight to that location and get the information. I hope you understand what I'm talking about. Yeah, so but for now we don't care. So so let's say local content, and then let's say content. So let's see what we got here. Pet argument to read. So now then we go to the documentation. Okay, so IO open and then read, right? Reading from file, use the file.read. Okay. File read. Is there a link? Nope, no link. File. No file over here. I think probably is the Lures default file system. Well, instead of looking at that, we have an example over here. System path for file IO open, and then file read. Okay, it's using that and do a read. Okay, so what I get is still new, but it does. Yeah, it's file. Oh, that's missing equal. There you go. So we read that, and then JSON decode, right? So we can get the JSON over here, put it to the top, and then score table, or let's say over here, let's say cards equals to JSON decode and content, right? So cards. No JSON. Do you mean no JSON? Okay. JSON decode. Do I need to set up anything? I don't think so. Require JSON system for file system directory. That's okay. And then read the file path. File.close. Oh, well, that doesn't really do anything. JSON not found. It's saying here this JSON not found. Interesting. So is JSON provided by? Oh yeah, it is provided by it. So then is there a way to load that in here? If not, that's okay. Then that means I just have to delegate this to the Lunar 2D level. So that's a good thing to notice and to talk about, right? So one of the things I learned from Uncle Bob is clean architecture, right? So in clean architecture, well, let me bring it up. So in clean architecture, I just search for that. Clean architecture, say over here, this picture, right? So what's outside is the external dependencies. And in this case, the JSON itself is external dependencies. Of course, also IO. IO is a external dependency that you touch outside. So the idea is to move them to the outside so that you can invert the dependencies. So when you're pointing on it, you have an interface or adapter that you can substitute it with something else during test, so that you would able to make the code testable and make the code organized much nicer, and it's isolated from all those external dependencies. So when you change, you can change them around. So so seems like this JSON stuff is on that side. And so what we will do is, assuming this is done by the external code. So it is a little bit less ideal than what I would expect, because say, for example, if I get the data from SQLite, or I get the data from server, some server, then the information I receive are most likely strings. So I would like to use strings as the common medium for me to process the data. Of course, in a sense, it can change a little bit. And also, say, for example, over here is I'm getting a specific ID, right? And since I'm getting a specific ID, the information will get a specific card based on the specified ID. And based on that, the information I return will be only that card information. So do I really need it to be a string, right? I don't have to say, when we implement it locally, like this, putting in a JSON, I need to read it, open it, process it, JSON decode it, and then figure out which line or which object we are looking for. And then from there, I would return the value, right? And so locally, what I'm returning is actually returning an object, because I already JSON decoded it. It doesn't make sense to JSON encode it can become a string and return, right? So I can return just an object. So as long as that object is serializable, well, actually, might not even need to be that case, but of course, able to serialize is always a good thing, because for testing and for other purpose to separate concern is a good thing to do. And also that's aligned with the topic I talk about data-oriented design. So based on this, returning an object is fine. And because of that, I can also model other services, say when you go into from the SQLite or go and get it from the server, will end up returning the object, right? A serializable object at least. I don't want to intrude too much of the game logic, the business logic into it. I want it to pass as just data. I don't want it to instantiate, for example, instantiate a class instance and or a character instance, or I think things like that, right? So just data, just a data is fine. So I'm okay to have this to be on the other side, on the external side. So because of that, then I will really need to reorganize this a little bit. So, but before that, let's finish this up. Just say finish the coding. So here I have this ID is a number, and I originally put this as in an array like that, but it really doesn't make much sense in doing that. Well, at least at this stage. So I need to search the string. Well, actually, I don't have to. I'm just returning cards ID, right? Because and then I want to make sure that it is one base. That's the important thing, and align it accordingly. But that's the implementation detail. So these that should work, right? Of course, there's all those edge case and stuff that which we will get into. So the thing is how I'm going to test this, because it's on the external dependencies side. Maybe I can make it a runtime test and something, so which will be more problematic, or basically get into the debug logging kind of thing. It seems like that's from right now, that is the only way. So let's do this. Since this is an external dependencies, then I definitely don't want to put it in here. So now I do want to have it in a separate location. So let's see. Let's just call it Solar 2D. And then inside Solar 2D, let's mimic it for now. We can change it later on. We have cards, and then have this loader, or basically just copy these two files or move these two files over there. Okay, so there. Then this will return the data, and should I do it like this? No, I should not. So let's create another function. Folder game data. Not game data. Yeah, it's okay. Call game data. Right, game data, and put the cards over there. So over here now, then I say game data cards. This one. Okay, so when this is loaded by Solar 2D, it should work. And in order to test that, let's do it. Let's actually test it. So let's go back to the main. And then over here, there are scenes, and and then there's this. Yeah, let's call it debug room. Okay. And then we can use this template, format it a little bit, and I really don't want to do it like that. I might change that later on, but show cards and make that a image, or well, make that a button. So let's do a main, and then we're going to create some button. Let's say like this, right? Do it like that. Oh, okay. And then you add the event handler. Okay. So show cards button. Okay. Show cards. Okay. So without doing anything, let's positioning the thing first. All right, with that, and go to the main, and this go to the scene debug room. Then here it should show so this shows the menu, and then this shows the debug room. But the debug room right now have nothing. So let's also just create this, repeat the same thing to make it look a little bit nicer. Oh, error. Probably the path is off. Oh, not copying from there. I want to copy it from menu. Okay, that's shown. So the show cards button. I need to add anything. It's very likely is the location. The Y is way too long, way too big. Nope, I'm messing up here. 300. There you go. Right, so that shows up, right? So the location really doesn't matter at this point. And so let's add the event handler. Right, so when it's tapped, well, instead of typing, copy and paste, show card button, add event listener tab, and then show cards. Okay. So of course, show cards doesn't exist. Right, and then here I need to have this show card. Go list cards. I go to scene debug. Let's see, scenes dot debug room dot list cards. Okay. And then this will still fail if I click on it. Yes, because we do not have that list card yet. And now here's the test. Hopefully this organization will work. Debug room, and then the template. We want to create a copy and call this list cards. Well, okay, lowercase, uppercase, list cards, and there you go. Let's click. Yes, it does show. Okay, so now this is working. So what we want to do is when it is created, not when it is loaded, we want to load the cards, right? So we actually probably we'll do some more organization over here, but right now I really call it Solo 2D. Or maybe I should just call it data loader. And then this I just call it card loader. Okay. Because DALC data access. Let's see if this works fine. Data access, and then this is card loader. Just call card, really. Right. Data access card dot get, and then get by ID. Okay, so well, I'm editing it from 2 different places, but this should still work because it's the same file. There you go. So get the express, get the debug room list cards, and then data access with cards. Okay, so now here we want to let's see, local will be say card loader, because it doesn't make sense to just call it card. Require, and then data access card load. Let's say, for example, call it like that. Card loaded get 1, and then local card. We don't really need to display it, so we can just doing like this, just print it out. Okay. Oh no, it doesn't work. Dispatch event function attempt the index of value card loader. Okay. Because here I didn't update it. In attempt to index local file, I get game data cards.json. This should be fine, supposedly. So list card line 21 function method get attempt to index local file in card lua line 7. Yep, it's exactly that. So over here it doesn't work that way. So this is data access. Let's say copy and paste it over here for now, and then I just call cards. Don't think that will work, but yeah. Why it doesn't work? Why it doesn't work? This should work. Get function get line 7. I'll attempt to index local file and null value. So this is null. This is receive a null, which it shouldn't be. Could it be this data access mess up? Yeah, it's the same. That new. That is weird. That's. I don't think it's bad, but let me actually try to load it here. Right. So that gives us the same thing. But we know that this code work. Right. So even let's just copy this over here and get the local JSON over here. Okay. So this will just get that and get the cards and let's say green cards. Yeah, it's really, it doesn't work. But this is the same thing though. Is it some settings, the build settings, this need to be specified which folder to load? Exclude file. No, it doesn't say that. Is there anything in the config? No, nothing. Let's just, for whatever it's worth, just put at the same location, right? So because that is really weird why it would do it, it will works in one file but not the other one. Yeah, this still doesn't work. Okay, let's double check, take a look at how the high score code does it. Oh well, this is loading it from the system path for file. It's, yeah, I see. So this doesn't work. It just doesn't know the data. Okay, so yeah, so then we need to figure out how to store information. But it was saying that I can use file IO using the file.read. Well, file.read, but open. You must use system path for file to create a file name and path to those. That's the problem. I see. So that's what it is. So we'll need to actually take a look at this resource directory, document directory, and see how are we going to add the files over there. You are not allowed to write file in the system resource. You must specify these. Let's double check. So over here is document, right? So which means yes, then that will work. So the question is the resource directory. So how am I going to save the information, the game data into that resource directory? Yeah. So use with that to do this and so on. Syntax, path for file read. No, I want to talk about how to write. over here, this is here too. This allow us to get it from here. So does it means it have a function specifically getting JSON or some other data? So over here, there's a decode file. Decode the content of a file that contains this and should usually be obtained file that. Okay, it's just this is just a shortcut. So data file. So probably in order to figure that part out, I will need to go into the build stuff, and for that probably need to look at some examples on how to save the data, because in the getting start guide it doesn't talk about that, right? All of the information are either just image and audio files over here, and it doesn't talk about other data right? And we getting the audio and getting the image through the API, right? Say the display getting this, and then for the other one, for the audio, let's look at the game. For the audio, where does it read the data? So this get the image, where's the audio sound? Here, right? Using the audio to load the sound. So that's inside the framework over there, and it's different than what I'm trying to do right now, because right now this is game data. So need to figure that out. Okay, here there's some string manipulation, lunar file system. Permission read. Then supposedly, oh, path for file. Oh, okay. Seems like I think I get it. So local file path equals to system path for file, right? And then here I can say game data slash cards.json, right? And then over here I use the file path. So let's see if that works. Oh, no more error. And this print out a table. Print out a table. JSON decode. This is the debug room. Yeah, it does print out something. Yep, it is what. Oh, I decoded. Yes, of course. Content. Right. There you go. All right, that's how it works. So let's fix this by going back here. We have the game data, we have the data access. Let's call this data access and cards, and then here, that's what I'm missing. Get the file path, and so I can remove this. And then in the debug room over here, I'm going to get the data dash access. Okay, there you go. And then this got print out, right? All right, so that works. Well, no, not yet, almost. Because we actually want to get this. Remove. And there you go, it's an object. So we have the JSON. So let's say JSON encode. There you go. So with all those, we are able to get the data from the card from the resource directory, and we didn't go as far as we want, but at least we figure some good information out, right? So let's recap because it's close to an hour already. So far what we have done. So we learned that the Lua itself doesn't have a JSON library come up with it. It probably does. We can use it, but the fact that Solar 2D already have it, it doesn't make sense to not using it, right? Because you got to be well, use what the game engine have. So because of that, that part, the loader for loading the card will become an external dependency, which kind of it is, and goes along with the Solar 2D game engine. And we also talk about the return value of that. As long as it is serializable, it's an object, that's fine. And then we just need to maintain the same interface in case if we want to switch over to use different kind of data. But in this case, since we are getting the game data directly from the game, from the device itself, it doesn't make sense to get from outside. It's okay. It's not likely we're going to change. But when we get some other information from other places, you know, we can maybe it's a good idea to keep the same level, right? So all of the external dependencies code is returning the same type of data, meaning just simple tables, simple data objects, right? So yeah, so that's it, and I think we can yeah, end this video for now. So well, hope you enjoy this and hope you learned something, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.